Hi everyone. I was tagged by my good friend Donna from Donna Unboxes to do it's a fun tag, weird things you don't know about me. And I watched her. She did a great job on hers, and she tagged several people, and I was one of them. So here's mine. All right, everybody. Number one, I have walked in my sleep several times, and some that I might not know about because I never remember about it. Like when I was 5 is the earliest that it ever happened, because what I did was I got up in the middle of the night, walked out the front door, and our door locks behind you at the time where we lived in Florida, Tampa, Florida. And so it locked behind me, and my dad came out in the morning when he saw I wasn't in my bed, and I was laying up against the door on the outside, and I had been bitten by hundreds of mosquitoes. I had bites all over me. That's the first time they knew of me doing that. And I've done it as recently as last year when I woke up, and this was when I had all my gardens going out here. I woke up and I had dirt all over the front of my pants that I had on, my arms, had it all over, my hands especially, under my nails, everything. And I'd obviously been working in the garden overnight and didn't know anything about it. Yeah, so I may have done it other times because I don't ever remember anything about it. Number two, when I was young, I would tie fishing line to these huge beetles in Florida and let them fly like a kite. Fly them like a kite. What we would do is every night, this is in Florida also, every night the city would send around these tanker trucks. And by the way, I got some new glasses from Dollar Tree. These tanker trucks to spray for mosquitoes. Right when it got dark, pretty much, is when they would come, or like, when it was turning dark. And everybody was supposed to stay in, which we did for, I think it was like a half hour or so after they did it. But of course, I wanted to go outside because after I was allowed to, they would make us wait. I still don't know if it was that safe these days now, looking back on it. But it would, what it would do is underneath the street lights, you would see all these crazy bugs that you'd never seen before. They were like prehistoric beetles looking with the triceratops looking horns on them. And it would stun them, but it wouldn't kill the big ones like that. They would eventually come back around and take off. So while they were knocked out, we would tie the little fishing line on them, real thin fishing line. And then when they came to, they'd start flying around, and we had big time with it. Number three, one Halloween when I was about 11, I got in a rock fight. Shouldn't have done it. So there's more kids than me involved. And I wasn't having a rock fight with myself. But anyway, I got hit in the back of the head by a piece of slate, and it stuck in the back of my head. I made the mistake of pulling it out, which made blood run all the way down my back. But we had to go get stitches. This is on Halloween, remember. Had to go get stitches, and my dad told me, he made me go with my sister trick-or-treating, which I wanted to go with my buddies, And he told my sister not to let me jump off any porches, because they knew I like to jump off porches and run to each house. And she couldn't keep track of me, the whole night. And naturally, I did it, jumped a couple times, got away with it. Well, it broke my stitches, and I had to go back to the emergency room, get more stitches. So as a result, my candy was taken away from Halloween. I'd already eaten a lot of it, out running around. But they took my candy away, about a pillowcase full, and I couldn't have it for a month. That was torture. Okay. Number four. In 1987, 5 days after our daughter was born, I started feeling real sick. At that time, I was pretty young. I was like 26, I think. And I was a district manager at Coca-Cola. And I was out doing some things in the company vehicle. Started feeling really sick, so I came back in. and we had to go over to my parent. We were supposed to go to my parents for pizza that night, and we went over there, just Joy and I. No, Logan. Logan was with us because he'd already been born. He was 2. Logan was with us. We went over there, and Jackie was 5 days old, and we had pizza, and I started feeling really, really sick, and they took me to the, Joy took me to the emergency room. They thought I had appendicitis and operated on me, and when they got in there, yes, my appendix was very inflamed and big, so they took it out. But what the problem was is I had perforated colon, and they had to end up taking out, I don't know, about a foot of colon that was perforated, and I ended up going into septic shock because I had eaten, and that nearly killed me. They said it was a miracle I survived. So that happened, and that changed my life. I mean, because that's when I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease, and I've had like 13 more surgeries since then. Praise the Lord, I haven't had one since, I think it was 20, when I had the hernia surgery and stuff. So that's when I found out about the Crohn's disease that I got. Okay. Number 5, Donna had mentioned something about Mario Brothers and how much she played it and stuff. Now, Joy, Logan, and Jackie, I played it some, but I got tired of it, and I got to where I wouldn't play it anymore. And then they played it continuously, day after day, and I got to where I could not stand to hear that music. I don't even want to think about that music. So even to this day, I can't stand it if I happen to hear that somehow, that music from those games. Okay. Okay, Joy and I, not long after we were married, probably in 78 or something like that, we lived in a cottage that was haunted as near as we could figure, and the other people around there said things about it too, and we talked to a person that lived in it before us, and they said the same things. We would hear walking and other sounds, bumping into stuff, like just different noises, like hitting stuff, and then we would hear things outside the window, and we would swear there's somebody out there. I'd run to the window or be right close to it. As soon as the noise was made, nothing was ever out there. Then I got really bad sick and had a really high fever for days. I really should have been in the hospital, but we didn't have any insurance, and I just thought I'd be okay. After I got better, I don't know if you can see it with my gray hair or other gray hair I got, but I got a white patch. This is it, I think, right here. You see that white, perfectly white hair? My hair was, of course, I was just in my 20s. My hair was, no, actually, I was probably 18 because we'd just been married for less than a year. So I don't know why I was saying 20s. It's hard to remember all the way back. But afterwards, after I had that fever and stuff, I got this white patch of hair above my ear here, and it's been there ever since. So it's strange. We moved out, needless to say. Okay, you've seen the bottle of Caladril. It's calamine lotion with itch reliever. Well, I used to be severely allergic to poison ivy. I can still get it now, but not like I did before. I mean, if I petted a dog or anything, if someone had it on their coat or anything and I happened to touch it, I would get it. I didn't even have to touch the plant. Then I went up, I was at my grandmother's, and my uncle was burning some weeds and stuff in a 55-gallon drum. Well, there was poison ivy in it, and I walked by, and the smoke just hit, I guess it was this side of my face. The smoke hit me from that when I just barely got into it. And then he said, well, I hope there wasn't any poison ivy in there because I know you're allergic to it bad. Well, I got poison ivy over half of my face. Anywhere it touched, I didn't have like a shirt, like where my sleeve was. were, ended, I'd get some poison ivy here on this side and across the side of my face. And I had to have a bunch of this. And there's lots of times I had it really, really bad. I had to go to the doctor even. Okay. When I was little, at my grandmother's house in the basement, going down the steps of the basement, there was like shelves on the wall, and they kept things on it. And they had a bottle, if y'all might remember this, a can of Red Devil Lye. And for some reason, I was terrified to look at that can, that devil on it. I was like, it was like watching me or something, I was just real little, and I was scared to death I wouldn't go down there by myself. Somebody had to go down there with me if I'd go down there. So, number 9, I was making deliveries in a big refrigerated truck, and the steering went out while I was going 55 miles an hour. On the left of me was a river, and on the right, there was a big ditch. Well, I came into a curve, and naturally, I couldn't turn it, and it kept going straight. Luckily, it didn't go into the river. Didn't veer that way. Kept going straight. I went into the ditch, and it had like a culvert thing down there. And as soon as I hit it, I slammed on the brakes, and it came to a stop, and I was like, wow, okay. When I started to get out, the left side of the truck was off the ground. The wheels weren't touching. And I went out, and I wondered, well, how in this world did this thing not tip over? I looked underneath the truck, and the drive shaft had broke, and it drove into the ground about at least 2 feet into the ground. And that stopped that truck from rolling over, saving my life possibly. So, yes, and it was one of the scariest things I've ever had happen. You don't know what it's like to not have control over a big, refrigerated truck that I was making deliveries to restaurants and stuff. It's just a horrible feeling. I mean, and number 10, a truck I was in caught fire way out in the country. There was no, I had to run for about a mile to get to the place I was going to make a delivery and call the volunteer fire department. It took them about 45 minutes to get there. It seemed like it, at least a half hour, I know. Well, by that time, the flames were about, I don't know, 20 to 25 foot in the air above the cab of the truck. And they finally got there, and they got it out. And the guy said to me, I don't see how this didn't blow up. And when they opened the cap to the, the gas tank, and there was smoke in the gas tank. And, it could have blown up. It could have blown up with me standing there, because I had to get everything out of there I could. I had money in there. I had coins in there where people paid for their drinks with, I was working for Coca-Cola. People that had, they had paid me with the money out of the machines and stuff. So I didn't want to leave it in there. I accidentally left some of my keys in there to the machines, and they melted. So it totaled the cab. And, but thank goodness. And I was going to use the fire extinguisher, but there was nothing in it. And I tried to lift the hood up, and I burnt my hands. So that was a very scary experience too. So anyway, I could talk some of those a lot longer, but I didn't want to make it a super long video. But that's some of the weird things that's happened to me. There's been a lot of things. We've lived all over the country. And a lot of them, they'd have to come to me. I don't really remember some things, but that's what I could remember for right now. So I hope y'all enjoyed this tag. I appreciate Donna tagging me in it. And I have some to tag here too. I'm tagging KimlvsArty, Crystal's Place, Joe's Places, Sassy T, and Pink Fairy. And I'll put Donna's link and the link to all these in my description if you'd like to go check out their channel. And then, you know, whenever they get theirs done, you'll be able to see theirs also when they do their tag. So I hope y'all enjoyed this. It's something a little bit different. I think it was fun. And I've got lots of stories about things that's happened to me. I've told them before on my channel. So everybody, like I said, I hope you enjoyed this tag. If you did, I hope you'll press that like button. Also subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that so you get all my videos as soon as they come out. All right, everybody, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see y'all later on. I'm looking forward to seeing all these videos. And once again, thanks, Donna, and everybody have a great day. Bye, and God bless.